The suburbs of Colorado Springs were supposed to be a haven of peace, or so the glossy brochures for Harmony Oaks promised. Tree-lined streets, perfectly manicured lawns, kids riding bikes without a care. What they didn't advertise was the iron fist wrapped in pastel cardigans and holiday sweaters. The HOA, and at the center of it all was Karen Langley, our beloved president. My name is Maya Ridge, and for 3 years, I've been the treasurer trying to actually make this place better instead of just policing it. While Karen spent her days peering through binoculars at violations and crafting passive-aggressive emails that started with "bless your heart," but I was the one crunching numbers for our big solar initiative, a $5.6 million project that would cut energy bills for every home and even qualify for green grants. I'd spent 18 months negotiating with contractors, filling out forms, attending city council meetings. Karen? She showed up for the photo ops, smiling in her community first pin, telling everyone it was our vision. It started innocently enough. When I first moved in, Karen had welcomed me with a basket of organic muffins and a 47-page copy of the covenants. "We're like a big family here, Maya," she said with that practiced smile. "We look out for each other." I should have known family in HOA speak meant submit or pay. The first fine came 6 months later. My Christmas lights went up on November 30th. The rule was December 1st. Karen's email arrived at 8:02 a.m. The next day, "Dear Maya, while we appreciate your holiday spirit, the covenants are clear about decoration timelines to maintain our aesthetic harmony. A $75 fine has been assessed. Have a blessed day." I paid it. What choice did I have? But I saved the email. Then the mailbox flag incident. My American flag was too large according to Section 8.4. Another $50. Then the excessive garden hose left out for 45 minutes. Karen had photographed it from her golf cart. Board meetings were where the real theater happened. I present my research on the solar project, cost-benefit analyses, vendor bids, projected savings of 40% on energy. Karen would nod along, then stand up in her perfectly pressed blouse. "As your president, I've been pushing for this kind of forward-thinking initiative. Maya has been helpful with the numbers, of course, but it's the community spirit that makes it happen." The other board members would applaud. I'd sit there smiling tightly while my blood pressure rose. But I didn't fight back. Not yet. I smiled, took notes, and kept building my case. Every email, every fine, every time she took credit in the monthly newsletter, President Langley leads charge for green energy. I had folders, timestamps, screenshots. The Christmas Gala was supposed to be my moment. The annual event at the Marriott downtown clubhouse where residents gathered for dinner, carols, and updates. This year, I was scheduled to present the signed contracts for the solar project Phase 1. It would be the first time the neighborhood saw the real numbers. Karen had approved the agenda herself 2 weeks ago. "It's going to be wonderful, Maya. The residents will be so impressed with what we've accomplished together." Then came December 23rd. My phone buzzed at 7:15 a.m. while I was reviewing the final contract pages. Karen's name flashed on the screen. "Maya, darling, there's been the most unfortunate mix-up with the reservation system for the gala. It seems your table and presentation slot were accidentally canceled yesterday afternoon. Some system glitch. You know how these things are. All spots are filled now. Perhaps we can FaceTime you in for a quick hello." I stared at the text. The words were polite. The exclamation points perfectly placed. But I knew. I called her. Straight to voicemail. Called the clubhouse manager. "I'm sorry. MS. Ridge. President Langley handled the guest list personally. We're at capacity." By 9 a.m., the Instagram story started. Karen's account, the official HOA one, showed the clubhouse being decorated. "Getting ready for the best Christmas gala ever. Can't wait to see everyone." The camera panned across tables set with poinsettias. The tree with presents for kids. Neighbors helping. Everyone except me. The post said, "Everyone is welcome." I sat in my kitchen, laptop open to the contract that needed both our signatures for the $5.6 million commitment. Outside, snow was falling gently. Inside, something cold and sharp was settling in my chest. Not sadness. Fury. This wasn't the first cut, just the deepest. I remembered the board vote on the solar bids. I'd spent weeks vetting 3 contractors. Karen showed up late, fresh from spa day, and announced she'd personally negotiated a better deal with her cousin's friend. The cousin's friend who later overcharged us by $40,000 before we quietly switched. In the newsletter, President Langley secures best deal for Harmony Oaks. My name wasn't even mentioned. Then there was the time she fined old Mr. Peterson $200 for his American flag being faded. He was a veteran. She smiled at the meeting and said, "Rules apply to everyone." Dear, I had argued it was petty. She'd smiled wider. Maya is so intense about these things. We all appreciate her passion. But harmony comes first. I kept quiet. Paid my own fines. Documented everything. Because I knew one day the numbers would speak louder than her smile. Now, the numbers were staring back at me. The Summit Green Partners contract, $5.6 million ready to transform every roof in Harmony Oaks. And Karen was too busy curating the perfect Gala photos to answer a single email about it. I opened the HOA bylaws on my second screen. Article 12, Section 4, Emergency Single Signature Provision. If one officer is unavailable for more than 72 hours during a time-sensitive transaction, the other may execute to protect community interests. Karen had been unavailable since yesterday. Perfect timing for her little glitch. I smiled for the first time that morning. It wasn't warm. It was the kind of smile you learn when you've been the invisible engine behind someone else's spotlight for too long. The Marriott downtown had 1 room left. Standard double on the 7th floor that smelled like industrial carpet cleaner and broken dreams. I threw my suitcase on the bed and opened my laptop. The contract glowed on the screen. Karen posted another story. Her and the neighbors decorating cookies. Wine glasses raised. Sisterhood of Harmony Oaks, she captioned, tagging everyone but me. I ordered room service, a $42 club sandwich that tasted like cardboard and betrayal. Outside, Denver lights twinkled. Families hurried past with last-minute gifts. Inside, I understood finally what I'd been too loyal to see. She hadn't made a mistake. She'd made a choice. And now, staring at that contract, I realized I had a choice too. Christmas Eve arrived with snow and silence. I woke at 6 a.m. in that sterile hotel room, curtains drawn against the festive lights outside. My phone showed 17 messages from various neighbors, none asking where I was, all sharing photos of preparations, inside jokes, memories being made without me. Karen had posted another story at midnight. Her and the bored wives decorating cookies, flowers in their hair, wine glasses raised. Sister time, the caption read, tagging everyone but me. The cruelty was surgical, visible enough for me to see, subtle enough for plausible deniability. I ordered room service coffee and opened my laptop. The Summit Green Partners deal glowed on the screen. $5.6 million for solar panels and community center upgrades that would save every homeowner hundreds a year. I'd identified the opportunity 6 months ago, spent countless hours analyzing traffic patterns, zoning laws, growth projections. Karen had attended exactly 1 meeting, arriving 20 minutes late with the wrong printouts and a fresh manicure. But according to our operating agreement, she'd need to sign, or she wouldn't. I called my HOA attorney, David Chun, at 7 a.m. Sharp. He answered on the second ring, used to my early calls. Maya, it's Christmas Eve. I need to exercise the single signature provision. Article 12, Section 4. Silence. Then, that careful lawyer tone. That requires proof of partner unavailability or incapacitation lasting more than 72 hours during critical business operations. She's unavailable, I said, watching another Instagram story pop up. Karen helping the caterers at the gala, smiling like she'd invented Christmas. I have documentation showing she's been unresponsive to critical business communications since December 21st. Maya, David's voice carried a warning. That clause was designed for emergencies, medical situations, not board disputes. Is she available to sign? Yes or no? Technically, I'm within my rights to proceed unilaterally to protect the community's interests. The buyer wants this closed by year-end for tax purposes. If we miss this window, we lose the deal. More silence. I could hear him thinking, calculating risk. You'll need to document every attempt to reach her. Emails, calls, texts, everything time-stamped. And Maya, this will burn bridges. Some bridges are meant to burn. I spent the morning building my case. Screenshots of unanswered emails about the summit deal dating back 2 weeks. Phone logs showing 15 attempted calls. Text messages about urgent contract review left unread. Karen had been too busy planning her Christmas performance to notice she was giving me ammunition. By noon, I had 40 pages of evidence. David reviewed everything, made his notes, prepared the filing. If you do this, he said, she'll fight it. Let her. At 2 p.m., alone in that hotel room, while my neighbors sat down to the gala dinner 2 miles away, I signed a Summit Green Partners contract. My signature alone, clean, decisive strokes of the pen. I sent the executed contract to the company with a brief note attached. Please find a fully executed agreement due to the holiday timing and the president's unavailability. I've exercised our emergency signature provision to ensure we meet your year-end deadline. Looking forward to a successful project. The response came within an hour. Received and accepted. Glad to see someone's working through the holidays. That's the kind of dedication we like to see. At 4 p.m., I called Grant Williams, the lead rep from Summit. He answered from what sounded like a family gathering, children laughing in the background. Maya, everything okay? I need 5 minutes of your time. It's about the project and our HOA leadership going forward. The background noise faded as he stepped somewhere quiet. What's going on? I want to be direct with you. Grant, Karen, and I are restructuring how we handle major projects. I'll be taking lead on all major initiatives going forward. The Summit deal I just closed solo should demonstrate my commitment to delivering results regardless of obstacles. Solo? I thought Karen was unavailable during the critical signing window. I made an executive decision to protect everyone's interests. I paused. Let that sink in. Grant, you've worked with both of us. You know who's been driving these deals. His silence stretched. Then, we've noticed certain patterns, response times, follow-through issues. I'm prepared to provide Summit with detailed performance metrics for every joint project over the past 3 years. I think you'll find the data illuminating. Maya, his voice dropped. Are you asking me to choose sides? I'm asking you to choose success. The solar project will happen with or without Karen's involvement. The question is whether Summit wants to bet on the person who's been delivering results or the one who's been taking credit for them. At 6 p.m., on Christmas Eve, while my neighbors sang carols around a piano I'd helped fund, I sat in a hotel room, finalizing the documentation that would sever Karen's claim to everything I'd built. Each paragraph was a small revenge. Each exhibit a quiet dagger. Karen posted a neighborhood photo at 8:47 p.m. Everyone in matching Christmas sweaters positioned around the tree. The spot where I should have stood was filled by her best friend's new boyfriend. No one seemed to notice the asymmetry. Perfect family. Perfect night, the caption read. Feeling so blessed. I smiled, closed Instagram, and opened my email to draft a message to our entire resident list. The subject line read, "Important update. Harmony Oaks leadership changes and the solar project success." My phone buzzed. Karen, finally noticing the summit confirmation email. "Did you just sign that deal without me?" I didn't respond. I was too busy writing the next chapter of our neighborhood. One where community was defined by results, not selfies, and where success was earned, not stolen. Outside my window, Denver celebrated Christmas Eve. Inside, I celebrated my independence. I didn't retaliate with anger. I retaliated with spreadsheets. Christmas morning came with Karen's calls, 37 of them between 6 and 9 a.m. I let each one go to voicemail, listening to her escalating panic while I compiled 3 years of meticulous documentation. Every missed meeting, every botched presentation, every resident we'd lost because she couldn't be bothered to remember their names. The data told a story Karen had never wanted anyone to read. The Riverside landscaping contract lost because she'd told the vendor we weren't really focused on native plants while I was in a Zoom closing the solar bids. Cost the community $1.7 million in potential rebates. The insurance claim after last year's hailstorm delayed 6 months because she'd forgotten to forward my emails to the adjuster while she was on a cruise. Residents paid out of pocket for roof repairs. The community center renovation that fell through when she sent the wrong financial projections, documents I'd explicitly marked draft, do not send, to the city council. Cost us $800,000 in prep work plus future market share. But the most damning evidence lived in our internal communications. Email threads where I'd begged her to review contracts, only to find she'd signed them without reading. Slack messages where she'd admitted to winging it in vendor meetings. Calendar invitations for strategy sessions she declined because Mercury was in retrograde. I attached everything to the resident email. 47 pages of cold, hard proof. The subject line was simple: the truth about our solar project and HOA leadership. I hit send at 10:03 a.m. while Karen was probably still posing for family photos at the Gala aftermath brunch. By noon, the replies started flooding in. Mr. Peterson, the veteran she'd fined for his flag. I knew something was off. Thank you for fighting for us. Mrs. Alvarez from down the street. Fined 3 times for her unapproved rose bushes. I've been saying this for years. Even the quiet ones who never spoke at meetings chimed in. Karen's texts turned from panic to rage. How dare you? This is defamation. I will sue you into next year. I replied once. The bylaws say otherwise. Karen, Merry Christmas. She called again. I let it ring. The board emergency meeting was scheduled for December 28th. I spent the next 3 days in that hotel room, turning my evidence into a presentation that would make her smile crack like cheap foundation. I remembered being the only one who showed up to the zoning hearing while Karen was sick. I remembered writing every grant application while she posted selfies at charity galas she claimed credit for. I remembered the time she'd told the newspaper President Langley single-handedly saved our energy costs when the article ran before we'd even broken ground. Every slight, every cut, every moment she'd push me aside while wearing that perfect smile. The startup we'd built together, except I wrote every proposal while she perfected her LinkedIn presence. The partnership with Summit, secured through my connections while she took credit in the company newsletter. The neighborhood dinners where she'd interrupt my successes with her struggles, my achievements with her adorable failures. But this was different. On Instagram, her stories continued. The dining table set with our grandmother's china, actually rented for the gala. The tree with presents underneath. I could see the one I donated, wrapped in the paper I'd carefully chosen. Everyone gathering, laughing, existing in a world that had quietly closed its doors to me. I ordered room service again, another $42 sandwich that tasted like victory this time. Outside, Denver was dressed in Christmas lights. Inside, I sat on the hotel bed, understanding finally what I'd been too blind to see. She hadn't made a mistake. She'd made a choice. And now the entire neighborhood had the receipts. The board meeting on December 28th was held via Zoom because Karen suddenly claimed health concerns after my email blast. But everyone knew the truth. She was terrified to face the residents in person. I logged in from my home office. I checked out of the Marriott that morning with a smile the front desk clerk still talks about. My camera was on. Karen's was not. The chat exploded before the meeting even started. Residents demanding answers. Why was Maya excluded from the gala? How much did we actually lose on that landscaping deal? What did we vote for you to take all the credit? Karen finally unmuted. Voice sweet as ever, but cracking at the edges. Friends, there seems to be a terrible misunderstanding. Maya has always been intense about these things. I was only trying to protect the harmony of our community. I share my screen. 47 pages. Every email. Every lost dollar. Every fine she'd issued while her own house had unapproved Christmas lights that stayed up until March. The room went silent except for the occasional gasp. Mr. Peterson spoke first. Karen, you fined me $200 for a faded flag. Meanwhile, you ignored 3 repair requests for the community center roof that leaked on my granddaughter's birthday party. Mrs. Alvarez, you told everyone the solar project was your idea. Maya's the one who stayed up until 2 a.m., filling out grant forms while you were at yoga. Karen's smile faltered. I was the face of the project, the public face. Someone has to represent us with charm and grace. I leaned forward. Charm doesn't pay the bills. Karen, numbers do. And the numbers show you've cost this community over $3 million in lost opportunities while I've delivered $5.6 million in actual savings. She tried the victim card. This is bullying. I've given my life to this neighborhood. The chat filled with laughing emojis. Grant Williams from Summit joined the call. I'd invited him. Based on the documentation Maya provided, we're prepared to move forward with her as the sole point of contact. We cannot risk further delays. Karen's face turned the color of her favorite pastel cardigan. You can't do this. I'm the president. I smiled. Not for long. I've collected signatures from 68% of homeowners requesting a special election. Your term ends today. The motion passed 9-0 among the board. Karen's camera finally went dark. She tried one last text. You'll regret this. I built this community. I replied with a screenshot of the new solar array renderings. No, Karen. I did. The meeting ended with applause in the chat. Residents posting photos of their own Christmas trees now that the fear of fines was gone. Someone started a new group chat titled Harmony Oaks 2.0, No More Karens. I closed my laptop and stepped outside for the first time in days. The snow had stopped. My neighbor waved from across the street, the same one Karen had fined last week for excessive snowman height. Merry Christmas, Maya, and thank you. I waved back. For the first time in 3 years. The neighborhood actually felt like home. By New Year's Eve, the solar crews were already on rooftops. Residents posted before and after photos with captions like, "Thanks to the real president." Karen's house sat dark. She decided to spend the holidays with family, which everyone knew meant she was hiding in her basement, scrolling through the flood of comments calling her out. I stood on my porch watching the first panels glint in the winter sun. My phone buzzed one last time, a text from Karen. You think you've won? I'll be back. Harmony Oaks needs me. I typed back. Harmony Oaks needed competence. We have it now. Then blocked her number. The special election was held January 15th. I won president by a landslide. My first act? Repealing the ridiculous decoration timeline rule and the flag size restrictions. The second? Publicly apologizing to every resident she'd ever fined unfairly and issuing refund from the petty cash she'd used for her president's discretionary fund, aka spa days. Board meetings became actual meetings now. No more performative smiles, just results. Mr. Peterson brought cookies he baked himself. Mrs. Alvarez brought roses from her garden. No one got fined for being human. Karen tried one last stunt, showing up at the February meeting uninvited, clutching her old rule book like a shield. "I just want to help with transition," she said, voice dripping honey. The room laughed. Literally laughed. I stood up. "The transition is complete. Karen, the community thanks you for your service." The pause was deliberate. The room erupted again. She left with her head high and her dignity in shreds. Last I heard, she moved to a different subdivision 2 towns over. Probably already president there. Already issuing fines for wrong-colored wreaths. I kept her old binoculars, though. Mounted them on my wall like a trophy. On the first anniversary of the solar project completion, we held a block party. No tickets. No glitches. No exclusions. I gave the speech this time. No one interrupted me with community spirit platitudes. Afterward, as neighbors raised glasses under the new solar-powered lights, Mr. Peterson clapped me on the shoulder. "You know, Maya, you're not intense. You're just right." I smiled, the warm kind this time. "Thanks. I'll learn from the best," and then improved on her. The neighborhood wasn't perfect. HOAs never are. But for the first time, it felt fair. And somewhere in her new subdivision, I'm sure Karen was already plotting her next comeback. But here in Harmony Oaks, the only Karen left was the memory and the satisfying knowledge that when she tried to cancel me, she'd actually canceled herself. Merry Christmas indeed.